I'm in.
You're in. We're off.
Yeah.
We're off again.
Hello, Tipperary.
Yeah. It sounds like the
Yeah.
Eurovision. I would give anything for you to host the Eurovision. They're like,
I'd love to do it.
but even to like host it would be one thing, but you could double down. You'd go, oh, you don't want me hosting? Fine, I'll just be the entry. So fine,
Yeah.
fine. I'll
I'll be the middle act before they announce, like the Riverdance space, whatever gig they had.
So I'll just out on like a Mill Street again, like 100-foot stage, and there's Fred out with the what are the two youths? The two youths.
15 of the melodicas. Yeah.
The two melodicas.
Name a song. Germany, France, anyone. So yeah.
It's made for somebody like you, though, isn't it? Because there's no putting a lid on Eurovision. Like you can just go.
Yeah.
Off you go.
Whatever, it seems to be the more enough, the more you can put your finger on something, the better chance the song. It either has to be completely naff or completely slow and sentimental to win the Eurovision. Do you know what I mean? Like it has to be something like so obscure, or there's no middle ground.
No,
like Oasis would never win
it. Yeah, exactly. I imagine I'd love the notion of you doing a walk through Ireland. Do you know that kind of way in a song?
Oh yeah.
You know, like just totally naff.
Like a country video. You know, that stuff was so pandering, but you know that, you see, it's amazing, but like the 90s Declan Ernie videos are the most funny, and like, because the beauty about them is they're not trying to be in any way funny, or they're not trying to be, it's just those moments in time, you know what I mean, when there's almost kind of a lovely country naivety to the whole thing. Blue jeans, my girl, you're my world, it's fucking brilliant, like brilliant stuff.
One of the greatest highlights of my life was being hugged by him when I came off stage, Declan Ernie.
Oh yeah,
it was.
I said that was amazing, Tom.
It was just, Jesus Christ! You walk off stage and Declan Ernie hugs you. It's like, what?
Yeah.
This is just. I had to go and have a sit down after. To be honest with you, I wasn't well. It was like, Jesus, with his square fringe.
Is he strong?
Do you know what? That's a great question. Nobody's ever asked me that, and I noticed there was strength in his forearms as they went around me. I was like, okay, this is definitely a hug. It wasn't a watery one, because he's quite. He looks like a slight man, but then there's nobody slight from Longford. They're normally wiry terrier style people, like, do you know that kind of way?
Drumlish. That's where it's from, isn't it?
Is it Drumlish she's from?
Oh yeah, it's got a song. It goes, in my native town, Drumlish. That's one of the songs.
I love the on the noseness of some of those. Like, there's no dancing around the issue. There's no. It's like the music videos.
Yeah.
It's to the point, with absolutely no shame whatsoever. Like, I mean, the most cryptic song he ever had was "Stop the World and Let Me Off." I was like, wow, that's deep, man. That's.
Was that not Big Tom's?
Jeez, he made it famous. He made he took it and run with it. It went out. I stand absolutely to be corrected by.
Maybe you're right. I don't know. I think it could be him. Yeah,
a music aficionado like yourselves.
Country aficionado, yeah.
I tell you though, there's some money in it. There's some money.
Yeah.
Like I remember doing. You're down in Killarney or down in Kerry now, but I remember doing the most mental gig of my life in the kind of middle bar in Killarney in the Sea. And it had no place. Do you know what comedy has no place? Like it has no place where we were that night. No. We were assaulting people with comedy in the bar, basically, is what we were doing. But the entire IDC main room was full of country fans, and there was like 5 singers were from Tipperary, I think, and there was like 120 quid for 2 nights of this. And it was the same bands, like, just singing other people's fucking songs. It's like, what? And full. Yeah. What the hell?
Sure, I think Peter Aiken says that with the tickets for Garth Brooks over the 7 nights or 5 nights he did, I think 45% of them tickets were from Monaghan. Honestly, God, like. I mean, there must be no in Monaghan if you do the numbers on it like that night, like.
You start going north of you, even in Kells and stuff. You start going north of there, and it's unashamed levels of blue jeans and.
Oh yeah, but it kind of, and it seems to be like these. They always put forward whoever's behind it in the industry. They put forward like a 13-year-old or a 14-year-old who's got a nice voice, and they put him in jeans, and he'll end up late. But it's always like from Armagh or, you know, Enniskillen, all these kind of places.
Yeah.
Oh, I love country. I'm sure my mammy da. And all those songs go like this: I'm a little boy on the field. And it never, the more southern you go, the less chance you have of becoming a country singer. You know, like the minute you go into loud, I'm a country boy, I know. No one from loud is allowed to do country songs. How are you?
You're right. By the time you get to Cork, forget about it. You're not. Like you singing in a Cork accent. That's not happening. Like it's
Monaghan and up. Isn't it Monaghan and up? That seems to be the gateway for country performers.
Any of them around here that are country singers, that's where they apply most of their trade. I've never seen anything like it. We were at a wedding. Colin Geddes' wedding, and he had it out near the village he lives near. Boy, it's only a village. Like there's no.
Yeah.
It's a good shaped village. It's like a small town, and they had this dance hall. I was like, a dance hall? Like what is that? But it was new. You know, you see dance halls now, and they probably are just a furniture storehouse.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they're nothing anymore. It's where somebody keeps trucks. But this was like a new dance hall, and I was like, who? And the following morning, we were having breakfast in the B&B, and this old couple heard our accents, and they're like, "Oh, are you up to see Jimmy Buckley?" And Jimmy Buckley's from up the road here. I was like, "Fucking who?" I said, "Jimmy Buckley, the singer. He's from your neck of the woods." And I was like, "No, what? No, we were at a wedding." And they looked at us like we were fucking Egypts. Like, but he was up there and he put maybe 500-600 people in this little village. They all came to see Jimmy Buckley singing songs. And you're like, what? And these had traveled from all over the north.
Yeah.
And we'll go see him the following night somewhere else as well and just dance their holes off to Jimmy Buckley.
Isn't it? Like, it's do you know what? On the country special late show, they were talking about there's a family in it. Isn't there, like, between the performers and the people that go through it?
Yeah.
I remember one night I was on the country special with the Late Show, and because I knew Cleona Hagen from Dancing with the Stars.
Yes.
So she was my way in. So she introduced me to Daniel O'Donnell, and I met Daniel, a lovely chat. But the minute I met Daniel, I was accepted across the country scene.
Really?
He's like the main man. You have to go through him. You know, and if everyone sees you talking to him, well, then you're in.
The Tony Soprano / Dolly Parton of Irish
he is
country
got
music.
Presence. Yeah.
Holy shit!
It's gas. Legend.
So, but are you Kerry now all the time?
Yeah. We're based in Kerry, and I'll be away 3 or 4 days, or my wife Julie as well. I was saying recently that, you know, like, marriage is about compromise, isn't it? And finding the middle ground, you know, all the time. And so I grew up in Kells, County Meath, and Julie grew up in Dingle. So through marriage and compromise, we're now living in Dingle.
I guess we're not all the way right to her front door. Like we're out the road a bit. Like so
exactly, yeah. not even a dare, not even Limerick. You know, we have to go straight to the. I might as well be in Austria.
How you find it? Because so many lads like you, like me, like Chris Kent, like Gordo, so many lads have just gone to the wind, like, and just went, "Now we're okay. We don't need Dublin. It's fine. It's fine."
Oh yeah. I think you were always like that, but weren't you? Like,
I mean, I probably gave off that image, but I was always in Dublin, like, but it was it wasn't maybe it wasn't inbuilt fucking ignorance that I just wasn't going to conform. You know, that kind of way, like, just I didn't ever feel the need to conform anywhere I ever went. It was just like, all right, what's the point? Because I wouldn't be very good at pretending to be that or whatever. But it was actually Natasha who's like, during COVID went, "Oh, Tom, we should move to Tip." And
brilliant. Yeah,
I was like, right, pack up the barbecue, we're off.
Yeah. I needed to move out of Dublin because it was killing me. I guess when I was back in my single days, like I was just there. What I would do, and you'd see. I mean, I go to a pub, and I know a lot of the people in pubs, management and stuff, and I drink, and then I'd have a lock-in. Do you know that I go to a lock-in till 8 or 9 in the morning? Sometimes I'd do this 3 times a week. Like I was literally, I was killing myself.
Yeah.
So just needed to. I needed to kind of get out of that situation. So.
To be fair, like there's any Irish person listening to this, there's not one of them would have to be convinced that what you were doing wasn't class. You know what I mean? To a degree,
completely. Like
there's nothing.
It is class, and it once off. You know what I mean? A few times, there's nothing better than it. Like it's awful crack, and it's there. When you smell cigarettes, or Jesus, lads, we're sucking diesel now.
Yeah. Fucking hell, when the ashtrays come out and the fags get lit up, you're like, yeah, this. But as you said, like I suppose I've never done 3 in a month, let alone 3 in 1 week. Jeez.
Oh yeah, like to be festivals. I like to go from Thursday to Sunday, and I would, for want of a better metaphor, I'd shoot my load too early on the Thursday. I could never recover Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. It's just kind of, So see, that's the thing. I'm kind of at times I'm all or nothing. So I'm much better now than I'm 42. But like Jesus, back then it was like kind of trying to, even so. But I wouldn't change a day. I wouldn't have changed a day of it either. At least I'm still gigging. At least I'm still traveling and on the road and stuff like that. So
yeah, you didn't do the tear the arse out and burn yourself out, and then that's it.
No.
Now you have to, you're working in an office somewhere because just can't go back to comedy. You just I can't. Yeah. I did all the comedy I can do, lads. I've done all the comedy. That's it. Jesus Christ.
It's a spoken word. That's just easier.
But it's interesting how so many lads dispersed and and nobody seems to be feeling any ill effects. Like, you know what I mean?
No. Well, like for us, I know I mentioned this to you as well. Like nothing was planned, but we just kind of went with it. Like we came to Kerry the third 2 weeks before lockdown, not knowing anything, and we just ended up here, and then we had a child, and then so like we just kind of Ted hung around, and so like it's obviously and
I'm fucking out of here, you guys. Have enough.
Exactly. So it was just that thing of, but we'll see. We'll see what happens down the road. Nothing solid.
Yeah, I get it, but I suppose especially for raising a youngster too, like there's so much more, I suppose, ease of mind where you're like, they'd be grand here. Like that's not saying that you can't be a wild child anywhere, like, but
yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, I feel a bit guilty now if I did take him out of Kerry because he's so many friends.
Yes.
At this stage, you know what I mean? Like, so be hard starting again. Like, it'd be very like it'd almost be traumatic for a child at that age, wouldn't it, to be taken up and put somewhere else, like.
We're going to just slowly, but like, I don't know what you do. You know the way when you get a new dog and you have an old dog, you're supposed to get him to meet halfway up the road. So you stop at a petrol station and you get like, I don't know, do you stop at junction 14 and let Ted out around and sniff the air?
We would be that ambitious. We'd maybe the Obama Plaza.
Exit
26.
Because the latest thing, I didn't know. These things pass me by, like, because I'm brutal, but I didn't realize you were actually good at Irish. Like, you seem to be good at Irish.
I'm not good at Irish at all. No, I'm okay. I got much better at it. I mean, when I did that show, Ralph and the Gaeilge, learning Irish, and like the only reason why I did that is because like Ted is speaking a bit of Irish in his childminders, and and Julie's already fluent.
Yes.
So I said, if they start talking Irish to each other, I'll be completely alienated. So I need to just do something. It's gas. What he was doing recently was, in the winter, he was waking up every morning and he'd look out the window, and instead of saying "fluck," he'd say "fluck," but he wasn't putting in the L.
Of course he
Right,
wasn't.
so,
Yeah.
no, so he's looking at me going, Dad, fuck, man, fuck. And I'm like, who you telling? Ted?
I'm just going to say, he was spot on either fucking way.
Exactly, yeah.
What age is he?
2 years and 7 months. It's hard to believe.
Isn't it bizarre and funny? Like, because did you know anything about kids at all? Because I didn't.
No.
Nothing.
And when we'd no real experience. It's not that we didn't have support, we did, but a lot of we stuff, we had incredible support from Natasha. She was amazing. You know, like 6 months prior to it, she was unbelievable once a week. She was fantastic. And so that really helped Julie. Do you know what I mean? Because because I'd be quite an anxious person as well. Like, so that was it was a godsend, really was. Just helped us with all that stuff, and with the hypnobirth kind of situation. And so it was, but after that, I was kind of looking at stuff on YouTube, like what they're doing. And with my algorithms, I ended up looking at Radiohead gigs and stuff like that instead. And the night before the birth.
But it is because and it's the different stages, because I had no idea, like, and these different stages now I find out post the stages of, and at the minute now he's in preschool, and
What age is he now, Tom?
He'd be 4 in August, the end of August. So but what it is you don't know the other kids he's going to be hanging out with, and I never thought about it.
Yeah.
But, there's pain in the holes. He'll be hanging. Oh, right. And he's sitting at the table the other day and just started raining. He looked out, and that's why it reminded me of the Fluck thing. He looked out and went, he genuinely put his hand to his face and went, fucking rain. We're looking at each other going, fuck. And you know where he got it from. Like, he got it from some young fella in his class who looked out and went, fucking rain. Like, and it's all that, and these are the stages, and you can't make a big, apparently, because I was ready to go here now, but you can't really, because of course he'll run around saying fucking rain for the rest of the day, like,
Yeah. A lady in Trim, and I know I mentioned it on stage, but she came up to me once, tell me about what her child said to her, and said, you can have this as material. I was in Costa in Trim doing me taxes, and this lady came up to me and goes, did I tell you this? Now stop me if I told you this.
No, it doesn't sound familiar.
Said that her child was saying the word abortion, and she doesn't know where she heard it. I swear to God, The child was saying, and then, this is true, right? And then the mom goes, what do you mean abortion? And the child went, abortion at chips. Is that amazing, isn't it? Jesus.
But there's going to be more of it. I know there's going to be more of it. Like, it's the stages that I'm not. Every time I get shocked, and I should stop getting shocked at this stage. Like of course, Natasha's like, "Oh no, this is the stage where they do the thing." I'm like, "Right, what? Why is he nude all the time? Like."
Oh yeah.
Nudity is high, but the only thing about it is that I kind of get it and appreciate it, and kind of love that he's so present. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
he doesn't. Yeah. There's no exterior anxiety or fucks given about anything. It's just like, I'm going to walk around.
Yeah.
Jesus, to live like
especially,
that.
And there's such reward in himself. Like if he, with potty training and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Even my nephew, when he had his first poo in the toilet, like my sister and her husband, my husband, I guess, brother-in-law, they went to make a big thing of it, and they were all clapping, and looking at the poo in the toilet, and he was delighted. And then Joanna went to flush the toilet, and the poo went, and he started crying like, "What the fuck?" Took me ages. That took me. Oh yeah, that's such a moment. It was like literally shitting on his parade. Yeah.
It is, and now another one on the way. Another one on the way.
Yeah. It's amazing how quick, August the 20th, 2:00.
Oh, you have it down. I have
enough time. I got the 1:00 bus from Bingo, hopefully. But we just scan as well, and everything's thankfully everything's happy, like, thank God, and they were saying, do you know, we don't know, want to know what it is, and they said we'll find out on the day.
Yeah.
And so when we were doing the scan, and when she went down to the kidneys and the liver, she was like, don't look now, because I might give it away, right? So then I wasn't looking, but then, right, I thought I'd seen it, massive, right, massive thing, and I was like, oh, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. And then she was like, that's the placenta.
Yeah, that's what I call it. What?
Exactly, yeah. We'll be cutting that one off. No way.
I did in around those people, because in fairness, their job is very serious.
Oh,
but
pressure.
And it's the pressure on them, because you know what I mean. You could be given bad news, good news, but you're trying to make. Cause this is what we do, and we nearly revel in awkward moments. But you kind of find yourself coming out with that shit, like, oh, that's what she said. Do you know?
Oh God!
Oh God! And this woman was just.
People often say to me, and you probably get this as well. Oh, I don't know how you do it. And I'm always like, I'm not. My sister works in A&E in Galway. I'll take jokes and it. And then the other thing as well is, I always think, I wouldn't do it. They always say this: you wouldn't see me do comedy, and I'm like, oh, thank God. And I'm like, he's asking you to do it. So no one's asking to do it for a reason. I wouldn't, and I guess they're trying to make it about themselves.
Yes,
that's their way of making stuff about themselves. Like, they're bringing it back to themselves, going, "Oh, I couldn't do it." Damn right you couldn't. Like,
I suppose that's an Irish conversational thing, isn't it? Too, you are something, or you say something, and there are ways to volley it back. Whereas I like to sit back, and if I'm chatting to somebody, like, even if they're really, really into their job, bin man, I go, tell me everything about that. And they see the discomfort. They're like, oh no, I'll tell you something. And then oh no, this won't work at all. You're like, no, she don't need to know anything about me. It's fine. It's fine. What could I possibly tell you that would make any fucking sense to you? Do you know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't make any sense whatsoever.
I'm genuinely interested. Yeah. It's the same. I use it on stage when, like, I say to someone, "How are you?" And they'll say back to me, like, "Good, how are you?" And then I'll say, "Yeah, I'm kind of busy. Talk to you later." That's the time for a conversation, But it's throwing it back, isn't it? They just don't want to.
I don't think it's a rudeness thing. I don't think it's a rudeness thing, but it seems to be an Irish conversational thing where it's like, so we'll just go tit for tat on this, and we'll try and outdo each other a little bit.
It started with Gia August Murdich. So this kind of thing, God be with you, God married me with you. It's just this throwing it back at each other. Like.
Then you're talking about the road rising before them and everything else. You're like, Jesus, come on. Oh, can we just sail? I know. So I find those, and what I also find is, with comedy, obviously you get the God, I couldn't do it. And you're thinking, maybe you could. All right. But have you ever found yourself at a wedding or some locked-in scenario where there can be an element nearly of aggression? Sometimes kind of going, I'm gassed too. I'm like,
oh yeah.
It's just an odd scenario. It's like, I didn't.
Or they go, you love this one. You love this one.
Jesus.
And you're like, it's hostage. It's not. I wouldn't say it's hostage situation stuff. It's
How are you, Jay?
He says you can't hear. He says, "How are you?" She said she's good, and she says hi as well.
Oh, dies Muragut Avuntor. That's
Dies Muragut Avuntor. I think that's French.
Oh, Ted's house. I was going to say.
Sorry,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
he made it himself. He did it.
Hold on one second. So that's ceiling there, and that's all big green screen thing there with stuff hanging.
Is that an actual bear's head?
No, it's a teddy. It's a teddy head.
It's a
teddy. And my strange brother-in-law from who lives in Brussels sends me bizarre things like that, and he sent me this from Brussels. So
I can't hear Tom. I can just see the hand actions. That's a true story.
This is actually a great podcast now. It's like actually Fred not relaying anything to Julie is hilarious. That you're both getting two different things from this chat. Like,
don't mind him, Julie. Don't mind him. No need to say that. Don't mind him. So, control him. This is probably controlling, isn't it? Just can't hear it like this is me.
Yeah. But yeah, you get that affair. But especially after a club, like you find yourself getting pulled aside. But it was only, and this is not comparing us to professional fighters, but I mean, I'm kind of comparing us to, but in all. But in all the people I've talked to and things like that, the pro fighters are the only people I've ever spoken to who get a kind of a similar thing. And I suppose it makes sense that being funny or being hard as nails are kind of two things that people assume you're just born with rather than you could actually learn or get good at.
Yeah,
do you know that kind of way?
Yeah, that's a good point. Or dancing. Yeah.
Or dancing. But then very rarely will you get a table full of blokes going, I'm a class dancer too. You know what I mean? Like, if you can bust a move on the floor, then all of a sudden people are like, oh shit, yeah, that is kind of a cool thing to be able to do. All right, like,
soccer, football, something like that. People might think they're a bit like, I don't know.
I wonder on a personal level, like, I wonder would that be the case where they go, oh, he's a class soccer player. Played a bit of ball myself in my day, like, you know, it's but the dance, like, if ever there was somebody, I've often, when people ask me, like, what's Fred, you know, when people know who you know or whatever, what's Fred like? And my description's always been the same as, like, if ever a man was born to just make you happy, like, if Fred was my solicitor, I'd get worried though. Do you know that kind of way? Like,
exactly, yeah.
Do you know, you'd moonwalk into court, like, I'm getting 10 years to life, like, if you're like.
I'm definitely very lucky with that because I've managed to create. I'm lucky with stand-up comedy and the industry that I get to live inside my own head.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Almost like a childlike situation. It's I think it's like 0.0% or something like this. It's I feel very lucky with it, and you know, I don't think, and I'm so far into comedy now, I don't know if I'll be able to do another job. You know, like, you know, I don't know if I'd have the I shouldn't say this now, professional suicide, but. Do you know if I'd have the discipline for it? Because all I know is comedy.
I can't picture you as anything else. Like, I mean, can you imagine, like, you know, because nowadays they do a background check, like, and they'll just type in your name, like, if you were going for a job, say a serious job, like an insurance broker or something like that, and they just went, let's just so is it Fred, just Fred Cooke, is it? tap. Go on, lads, pick a song with
Yeah, Spar Rod comes up. The price is on the floor. Let me into America. Good luck.
What, isn't that amazing how certain ads, like, Jesus, how that ad has if I say your name, bang, the association people can make.
Yeah.
And that ad must be what, 15 years old? Is it?
15. Yeah, it's mad now. Yeah.
The association.
I should have saved all that money. Yeah. I should have, like, I was telling people I was a full-time comedian, but I wasn't really. I was just living off the Spar ads. I became a full-time comedian, you know, like through it. But you know, if I should have kept working. I should have kept working at a job, like, you know, at the time, like, so.
Yeah, but it's chasing the dream, and also, like, who wants to be the guy, you know, who's now famous for telling everybody they're a comedian, known for being a comedian because he played somebody in the real world, and then all of a sudden they go into Spar and you're actually working. Although that would be kind of class if you were just working in a Spar. What was going into Spar like after that?
Grand. Like, I never got out. People always thought I got shit for free. You know, I never did. And like, I never, like there was always, you know, there's always a bit of crack with it, but never, like, I remember Brian Congdon once, you know, the manager of the comedy venue in Cork City Limits.
Yes, yeah.
He put posters up around Cork of me, but there were pictures of me from the Spar ad with the Spar symbol on the posters, and he actually put them in Spar, all over Spar. So it looked like Spar were actually sponsoring the gig. You know, like, so I got close to doing a comedy thing with them, and it just didn't happen, you know, doing a tour. which would have been great. Do you know, like sponsored by Spar, and so that's what I was trying to kind of, trying to make it work for me. How can I do this? You know what I mean? And so, but they were great. It was awful crap, and it was, those the ads weren't that demanding at all. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's almost like there's the odd facial expression. So you're kind of hanging around and you look after you. And so, but I actually got it because there was, when you do castings for ads, and so there was a McDonald's ad before that. It's the same company. I think they're called Red Apple or something like that.
Right.
And I actually got the McDonald's ad. I got the McDonald's ad, and then the Spar ad came forward, and they were kind of looking at going, actually, you know what, we could put this guy in the Spar ad instead, even though, it was more kind of suited. So I walked in to do the casting for the Spar ad, and the director, he said to me, that I looked like someone who never done a day's work in his life. I even walked in late. I was all over the place. Do you know? And he goes, yeah, we have him. This lad's all over the place.
What other fucking environment would that be a positive scenario? Where a man walks in for a job and the guy looks at him who could give him the job and said, that fella looks
like him. Yeah.
He's perfect.
It's a real Forrest Gump situation, isn't it? Like, just end up fucking falling into something by accident, like.
Oh man, yeah, Jesus Christ. And it, like the bizarreness when you go for those ads and you're all sitting there filling out the form and 98% of the lads and you're all comics kind of going, right. We're all just white Irish guys.
Yeah. I know a lad, I remember doing an ad once, a casting and this guy who got it, who I knew, and and the ad was a great money gig, and this is like, honestly, this could be 20 years ago now, and the gig was on one of the islands, Aran Islands, and so he had to go over. I don't even know what the ad was, but he was in a fight the night before, and he arrived loads of bruises on his face and everything like that. I had to get someone else.
What?
Just arrived in bits. Yeah.
But it's funny how, like, it's the softest number you'll ever get, like an old ad. Like, but I remember.
Oh yeah. Were you in ads, weren't you?
I did. I done a couple ads, but I was always only tiny little bits. But I never forget, because I've worked in horrible jobs, like hard out, fucking sore and cold jobs.
Yeah.
But I'll never forget this woman. She was the agency or whatever. She was so delighted. She goes, "I got you into this ad. They really like you." Now, there's a few. Now, she never mentioned she got a rake of people into this ad. It was an ad for Guinness. She was now, like, your man likes to look at you, all right. And it basically, if you end up being the featured guy, and this basically comes down to just editing in the end. Like, it's nothing. If you're the featured guy, there's 10 grand in this for you, Tom. It's like, fucking lovely. So we were all kind of lined up at the bar. It was, this guy was a Canadian
You're
guy.
trying to get in front of the camera.
Oh, like the elbowing going on from everybody. Like, but we were all kind of lined up, but your man was going along and he was just this fella made such a hoo-ha about a very basic fucking thing. Like, and it had all been done before what he was doing, but he made it sound artistic. And he was there with the index, the making the fucking square. You're like, go.
Yeah.
And the ad, it got shot or whatever. And you weren't to find out for 2 weeks, and Yuan rang me like damn near in tears because she was so sad and upset for me. I says, "What is it?" She's like, we were sure you were going to be the feature, but your man just didn't like your face in the end."
Wow, what a thing to say. There's no need to even say that.
No, he's straight. She didn't have to say it, but I kind of went, "Oh, okay." But I kind of figured the fucker didn't like my face. The way he was looking at me, he didn't like the head on me. I think at one point I overheard him say, "Your man's forehead is too square," which is, to be fair to the man, it is fair. Like if he said something like opinion based, but the fact is there is corners on my head. So I just kind of went with it. But it was when your one went, "Yeah, they'll only pay you the 500 quid." And I went, "Fucking fuck."
I know. If you hadn't seen some churches. Yeah.
This is fucking class. Are you joking me?
I was in loads of actions for that. Like, I was in an ad for Vodafone where I had to dress up as a builder and walk. All I had to do was walk from one side of the room to the other. And I got like €180. Pound, right. No, euro. Yeah. And but I had nothing to do. Like, I was just drinking coffee all day, having chats, and I did an ad for Budweiser, and it was actually I turned up when I was too young. I was too young to be in it, but so I just hand hung around it and drank coffee anyway, and I still got paid for it. It's gas, like, so I got paid for literally doing nothing, like. Do you remember the Meteor ad? This is gas. Do you remember that there's a Meteor ad? This is another 20 years ago now. It used to be a brunette and a blonde-haired lady, and they were the two people in all the ads. And like there was this one specific ad where when group text was becoming very popular in the phone.
Yes.
And they were trying to promote a restaurant, the packet. And then they sent out a text. And by the time they arrived to the restaurant, all their friends were in the restaurant already. That's how popular Meteor was. That was the whole ad. And so I was in that. I got a clear bit. I was sitting on the table. Like they had me sitting on the table as if I'm on a date. But this girl is completely like out of my league. You know what I mean? Like it was like this story, it didn't make sense at all. Like so it's like she must be my counselor or something like this. And and then it was so funny because and I got more attention out of that than the Spar ad, because I remember there'd be football matches in Kells, and I'd be there watching a match with my brother on the big screens, big Celtic Tiger screens in pubs, and then that would come on, and I'd only be on it for like 5 seconds at the very end, smiling at these two girls, and the whole pub would get up and start clapping. It was like Jackie Brother. That's what, yeah. Well done, Fred. You're loaded now. And then they'd be asking, will you buy us a drink with all your Meteor money? All this kind of crap. So
the 200 quid you got for the day for hanging around.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've done ads, and I remember I did a TV show, and it was so fake. It was about ghosts, and it was supposed to be hunting for ghosts. And I think I kind of lost the remit somewhere. I was just being me and kind of pulling the piss a bit, but it was supposed to be I was supposed to be in character, and it was supposed to be a documentary. It was a documentary, and they shot it very well. We went down to Loftus Hall, and I kept on forgetting that I was supposed to be serious.
And what was your position in it?
Oh, I was to be Tom O'Mahony, but brought along. I was really into ghosts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to go with these experts, but I literally turned into a fucking teenager. I kept on going, have you ever seen a sexy ghost? Saying stupid shit. And they left it in because they were obviously stuck for fucking content. But the weird thing was like, it was just stupid shit. And I remember your man, he was so serious, the guy, he was so into it. And I'll never forget, and I couldn't believe they left it in. Virgin made it, like, and we're driving up along or whatever, and it was all, mystical music playing. I said something about, wow, that's we were pulling up to Loftus Hall. It's fucking huge. He said, well, guys, this one's going to be a big one. And because I'm 5, I went, that's what she said. Just like a fucking ball bag. And I couldn't believe it. They didn't cut it out. They left it
in.
They kept it in.
Stop.
And nobody left in the car either.
Yeah.
But I think they did a cutaway of the two in the back from like 10 minutes previous. So it was utter silence. Like it was not even like.
I remember can't remind me. I remember when I was in first class, and I went to boarding school in Cavan, and it wasn't like a posh school at all. Like the priests paid for the electricity, and so we paid for food. The education was free, and they couldn't even afford to keep us in. They phased out the boarders. And but I remember the first night. Do you know, like, there used to be this wanking sound that you do with your cheek like this?
Yeah.
Do you remember that? And it'd often be a joke.
Yeah, of course.
I was sharing a room with this guy, Vincent Fay. He was one side of the room, I was the other side of the room. I said, I didn't know him that well. I went, good night now, Vincent. Yeah, night. And then jokingly I went like this, must have done it for 10 seconds, like that, right? And then I stopped, right? And no, he didn't laugh. And I'm like, oh God, he actually thinks I'm wanking. He actually thinks I'm wanking now, And I don't know, should I bring it up with him? Remember, I was sitting beside him for breakfast next morning, and I said, I wasn't wanking last night. I wasn't doing that, Just when stupid jokes goes horribly wrong.
You just put you to lie in the bed for the whole night going, shit.
Exactly, yeah. just going to tell everyone. I was going to tell everyone now. Shit.
See, you guys, why send you to boarding school? Was it?
I don't know. My dad went there, and my uncle went there. My
Oh.
two uncles, and but I don't know. I don't know why. Like, tell you the truth, I think my parents sent me, like, in summers they sent me to Leitrim, and then like they sent me to like boarding schools. I was already at home, like, you know what I mean. There's always other people looking after me, you know. And it's not like it was a problem child, and it was cheaper. It was cheaper to actually keep us in that school than to have us at home. It worked out. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah. It's not so I don't know, like, I kind of like just 3 hours study every night. Looking back, yeah, I should be a doctor now. Like, what did I do for those 3 hours? Like,
What
5
did you
hours
do?
study on a Saturday. I don't know, just looking at the window and like, I remember one night was the funniest thing. It was, you'd have 200 lads, 250 looking in the same direction with and a winter's night. You know, these kind of schools they're a kilometre out in their own field surrounded by trees. They're a bit out.
Yes.
And,
Yeah.
you know, those kind of buildings. And the principal came in and he says that there's a guy in the fuse board, so there's going to be an electricity cut for half an hour, for half a minute, 30 seconds. And so there's a crack, right? And then he walked away. And then maybe 10 minutes later, the place just went black. Like, you couldn't see a thing. Because it's so out of the country. And I swear to God, for those 30 seconds, like, it was survival of the fittest. It's the funniest thing ever. Like, it was just, I've never seen so much chaos in 30 seconds of, like, you know, lads in headlocks and lads standing on top of their desks with lighters, banging their feet, and you know, lads getting hit. And then, you know, when the lights came back on, they just went back to their seats again. Like, but it was so funny and stupid. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was chaos.
I love it. In literally less than 30, in half a second, you went feral and turned Lord of the Flies. Like, in half a second. Like, that's it. Apocalypse time, lads. Fine.
People are waiting for it. They're waiting targets going on. That light goes off now. I'm going to give that lad I'm going to knock him on the back of the head and stuff like that. So, and the supervisor, quiet. Like, he had no hope. Like, you know, like, it wasn't happening.
Oh, was there tellies and stuff to be watching in the evening or what?
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
There was a TV room, so like, so we'd all sit and watch the same TV, which was so annoying because on a Saturday study would start at 5:30, the first hour 5:30 to 6:30, and Baywatch would start at 5:15. So we had 10 minutes of Baywatch before we all had to go to the study hall. And it was never, do you remember the start of Baywatch? It was always like a music video or something like this. Someone walking along, watching it. Like,
some people said, you're going, this is just a teaser.
Oh, completely.
Raging.
And you see Pamela Anderson, like, that's been throwing each other and go, sorry. Don't know what happened there. It's a power cut. This is laters. I was going mad.
Picture you coming back on, like, and you've got Julie in a headlock. He's like, no, Fred, no.
It's only a bit of crack.
The notion that, the first 10 minutes of Baywatch, 5 minutes are nearly the fucking start of it, and heaven forbid, like, the opening scene is like two criminals cracking into something, because they're like, I don't need to see more blows. Or the son. Did you ever hear your man? Your man has an incredible story. Do you know the son, Mitch's son, in Holby? Yeah. The most mental. If you look for there's a guy called Andy Rowe. He's a great podcast, and he's got just, you know, ex-SAS. He's got he has this guy on, looks nothing like, just got a big beard now. So he went off a
Which
cliff.
Hobie? Was it the black-haired Hobie or the blonde-haired one?
I think it was the black-haired guy, the original guy.
Yeah.
But like, this guy, he was saying it was just the most bizarre time. Like, he was there on set, like the ones, like the actresses would flash him for the crack, like when he was maybe 12. He says, Jesus Christ, I was driven round the fucking bend, like. And then he says, before you know it, you're 15 and you're allowed into clubs because it's just the biggest show in the world. And he was on heroin, homeless.
No way.
Yeah, and now he's like
he was homeless.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh my
mental.
God.
Like, and the money he's talking about blowing and stuff like that. But it's just, and he was a counsellor. He goes, right this morning, he says, late last night, he actually went with a mother to meet her son in the local jail, like at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Like, but the stories that
Amazing.
go from that lifestyle. But I mean, probably correlates with yourself in Cavan at the time. Like I would take heroin now, lads, just to get through this study hour.
Oh yeah.
Like the notion, I don't know, like the notion of sending the young fella away to boarding and not seeing him till summer. But no, I don't. I think we're probably.
When we got home, we were getting home every weekend because we couldn't afford to keep. The first 2 years we stayed in every second weekend.
Right.
Then after that, we got home every weekend. We couldn't afford to keep us in for the weekend, so it was it would fly. Get the.
Yeah. I suppose I like the notion we could keep us in, like you were wild herd of young fellas, just keep you held in for the weekend.
Yeah.
The Tommy show, because this is the one everybody brings up. Do you know who's coming on, or have you?
I find out like we start filming at around 7.
Yeah.
And I'll find out at around 5:30, 6, 5:45.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and I won't be in contact with Tommy at all. I'll say hi to him and have a quick chat, and then he stays in the same room. He gets the makeup, his clothes all brought to him. We just moved out of that room, but I've got my own room, thankfully, and I put the suit on. And when I go up to makeup, sometimes like I'll ask the. It's funny, like I'll play a game with the producer. We go, who is it? And then, like and all they can say is yes or no. Do you know what I mean? Like
okay.
And I'll always go, like, is it a man? Yeah, Paul Mesco. No. But you'll find out as well before you ask. Like, I know you go up to makeup at 6:30. When we're going up to makeup, this would always happen. And like Gabriel Burnley beside you, in the seat beside you, getting his makeup done, and you're like, that lad's not, doing mass for Sunday morning. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're like, wow. Or Roy Keane was amazing. Like, I couldn't believe it. Like when they told me Roy Keane, like, so. But for me, like Steve Coogan, that was unbelievable. Like such a hero. Wow. Like,
yeah.
It was. And I wouldn't go out of my way. Like, I'd meet the guests. I'd meet them all. Like Neil Hannon from Divine Comedy. I just idolize them. I love them. Like, so.
Yes.
So that was kind of cool, and like Michael D. Higgins. So there's just like in him. But the other thing as well, I feel is I have to kind of keep it the same. When I introduce,
yes.
I know I went mental for Roy Keane. Roy Keane, you know what I mean? And you can see the audience come out, wow, like, it was really. But a lot of the time, I'm introducing people who might have. You see, I can't say too much. I can't give too much because then Tommy, if I laugh, then Tommy knows it's a comedian. Even though he's no comedian anywhere,
yes.
It's so it's. Or it might be somebody who's got dementia or fucking Alzheimer's or Parkinson's. So you have to be kind of.
You can't go out, please. Well, Tommy.
Yes, I got one for you. And but the other thing is, I do much more than what you see on the television.
I've no doubt. I've no doubt.
A lot of people think my hometown lads me crossed the road there 2 months ago. But Jez, you have it handy, don't you? Like, the thing. And but because I do the warm up as well. Do you know what I mean? And I kind of I meet the guests and kind of talk to yourself with them just to make them feel comfortable. And but in lockdown, I don't know if I was telling you this, and stop me if it was. I felt so guilty because I had a letter of permission to leave Kerry to do the Tommy Tiernan show, and this was in the height of lockdown. This isn't the second lockdown. Did they send a chopper or something?
How did they? How?
Oh, this is the best bit. So no, I drove, and it was like my son was only 4 months old, so it was like getting to Disneyland. Do you know what I mean? Like just
of course, yeah.
Just those nights, a night away, like, and it was. But I'd meet so because you see that you remember them yourself, the guards in the Limerick roundabout. So yeah, and I'd like the cars in front of me, the reasons why they were traveling were so different to me. I felt so guilty. Like the first car would be like, oh, I'm delivering this blood to the Children's Hospital in Crumlin. Oh, well done. You're a wonderful person for the front line of staff of Ireland. And then the second person would be like, I'm delivering these gallons of oxygen to the old folks hospice in Trumcounty. Oh, well done. And then I come along and I'm like, I'm pulling the curtain for the two Johnnies. I'm mentally like, Ireland needs me. Ireland needs me. I'm the front. And the guy was like, oh, you're a wonderful frontline staff. Thank you so much. And so I felt so guilty about it, but I was lucky to have it.
Yeah, had you done much, like, you'd be, yeah, I could see how you'd be great at TV warm-up. Like, it can be a thankless job, all right, because you've probably done a bunch of shows, like, but
Yeah,
I think
some shows are much easier to do than others. And like when I used to do the Republic of Italian, it was incredible fun. I would do Podge and Rog, and that was a great crack. You know what I mean? And so years ago, I did the Late Late Show. When I was only starting off, a friend of mine got me the gig, and it was strange. The late Paul O'Grady was there as well. He was lovely. He was very encouraging. He spoke away to me, and Tom Jones and Simply Red. It was an amazing night, like, and I found I wasn't ready for it. Do you know what I mean? I just wasn't. I was a young lad. Do you know, and nothing to do with age, but I just had no stage time behind me or anything. We going out spontaneously and hoping for the best. So, but the Tommy show's a dream because I'm kind of like in the middle. I do warm up and start, but then I'll go out in the middle of it when they're coming back from the toilet, and it quickens up the process because they're all back to the toilets because they don't want to be made fun of. But I'm literally making fun of people without a net. Whoever walks by me, bang, bang, bang. It was kind of like street performance.
Beautiful.
I guess, you know, like that kind of crack. And it's awful crack. You know, it's a joy.
You see, you're established now as like you're established, everybody knows, aside from everybody knowing Fred Cooke, it's the Tommy show. And you know what I mean? It's almost like Andy to Conan O'Brien in a way. Like he comes out with zingers and you're like,
but that's what I was said to Tommy. I said I can just hang, you know what I mean? And like I won't take over. Do you know what I mean? Like that was always the feeling. And I would Tommy, it's all about the beauty and the engine that shows the power of conversation.
Yes.
And you know, so you kind of, and like at the early days, I guess Tommy had to fight to make the show simple and effective. You know, like because it kind of replaced Republic of Telly in ways, like, you know, and so it would have been, you had to fight it. It was almost like a bit wacky or something like this, and it wasn't. Do you know what I mean? It was a simple chat, and you know, there used to be the sketch group on it as well, who were great, like the Gusser brothers as well. Like, but then they went as well. It just got more simple, and now like they just have it perfect, like so.
It's when it's TV. I understand. You see, you can understand TV comedian warm up for the Tommy show and the late could be a bit of a sticky one, even with what. But I remember I did a few, and the last one I did was for the Cutting Edge.
Oh wow, yeah.
And this comedy had no place in this. And
they're not there for the last. Yeah,
they absolutely were not there for me. Like, and I used to do a bit about it, and how Brendan O'Connor actually went out and addressed them first. So he was the guy that they were all hot for, like, and they'd clearly come from misery. And I swear, and this is where when you're talking about the kid with the portion of chips and the abort, he says, so we'll be covering two major subjects tonight. And I'm standing to the side. And for anybody wondering what it's like, you literally walk out of this big flat floor where it's brightly lit, and all the people they've come to see, and the stage and set that they've come to see is behind where you'd be standing. So it's not like a stage curtain where that's you know.
Yeah, it's very, you can't own the room. It's very hard.
Not. And O'Connor comes out and he says, we'll be talking about assisted suicide. I'm looking around going, oh my fucking God. And it seems to be all owl ones in the audience.
Yeah.
And they're loving it because they're like, I thought, this is going to be a great night. And then he drops it. He says, and abortion. And they were like, yes. Oh, fucking yes. This is two zingers. But he says, but first we're going to have this. We're going to have this fella. He actually called me this fella. Tell you a few jokes. And
he didn't give you a name.
Nah.
Funny.
I'm like, oh my God. And it was.
That's unbelievable. And how long did you have to do?
I was supposed to do 10, right? I'm supposed to just do 10 minutes, which is grand. But we're talking seconds before O'Connor walked out.
Yeah.
Your man, the producer, turns around and says, can you do about 4.5 to 4:45? I went, what the fuck does that mean? How do I possibly, what do I do with that? Like, I'm not a one-liner, like, and then you try to talk to them and none of them, the thing is, none of them look any different. You know, when you're having the banter with the audience walking back in, and you're like, oh, there she is now with the red hair, fair play to her, you know, or lovely shoes. I have a pair of them myself. They all look like the same person. It's like, there's no crowd work to be done here either. Because even if you look, none of them want to talk to me. They're all literally looking over my shoulder at smart people checking their notes, and I'm talking about arses and fucking airplane food and stuff. I'm going, oh my God, this is horrendous. But I can see how, like, then I see the likes of, like, Sinead Quinlan is on the Angela Scanlon show. Absolutely makes sense. She's throwing out free bars of chocolate to people. It's like, yes, this all makes perfect sense. Because it's happy.
If it's lighthearted and fun, absolutely. Like, that's the one you want, isn't it? Like, it's, God, I can't remember. I used to work on a rugby show, and I was just doing the warm-up. And I did a bit of TV stuff on it as well, and I was surprised they asked me to do it because I haven't a clue about rugby. You know, look, I'm not just on, but the show will go out live. But something has me out. Once I did 45 minutes before the show happened. 45 minutes of just interacting and chatting. 45 minutes, and then just because they were so late getting stuff ready, they had me out there. Do you know what I mean? And the show this one wasn't live, but it was recorded as live. So I did 45 minutes, and then the show was 20 minutes. That's what they got, the audience. So people are like, is it just like the Fred Cooke show for 45 minutes? Like, you know? And the problem was, it went okay, it went grand, because you just kind of, you're connected up, and you know, you're just fighting for anything to kind of get it working, like. And but then I came back the next week, and it's the exact same people, the exact same crowd, like. You know? We're fed up at this stage, like.
You burned through 45 minutes of Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But it like, in all fairness though, comedy should work, but it's like I said, that bar in the Glen Eagles that night, comedy just won't work in places. The only time it never works is when it's where it should never be. Do you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Nobody,
and it's like no one's in the wrong. No one's in the wrong. It's just a situation. It's just a situation.
I won't keep you for too much long, but I wanted to know, like, how you felt, and I want to put Fred Cooke in the school that Enoch Burke was hanging around outside. I want to, because you have an unbelievable memory for your time in school. But if you're in that boarding school, right, and Gavin and Enoch, which how you naming a young fella Enoch and I'm not expecting fucking bad results, like. But like, what's your take on Sir you hanging around?
I think he's gas. I actually think he's just, his problem is he just loves school. He loves it too much. You know, I'd say the last day of his final leaving cert exam, everyone was walking out the door, and he was like, "I'm just going to hang out in the canteen for a few more weeks. It's going to be closed. Look, and I'll look at the fridge. I'll stack the fridge. I'll do something." You know what I mean? Like, it's the complete opposite of me when it comes to, you know, his love for school. Like, I was actually saying recently that the geography teacher asked me, what's the capital of Jordan? And I said J.
But you know what, though? In all fair, yes, okay. As a geography teacher, I'd have to tip my cap to that moment, like, for a second, and go, fuck it, that's yeah. Anyway, on to the next slide, because there'd be no point in going back to you, because to be fair, you owned the room and you crushed with that line, like, you know what I mean? There's no, what's the capital?
No, it was like, they laughed at me. They're like, Fred's being serious now. I'd say my English teacher was delighted. That we're making great progress, Fred.
Yeah, but I still imagine you standing up and taking a bow, like, going, you're
welcome. Oh, yeah.
It's I only wish we had an Enoch Burke in the school I went to. Like, it was rough as fuck. Like, it was like, if you were a person of weak temperament in our school, you just got eaten alive. Like, if it wasn't by us, it was by the lads who actually did bite people. You know, there was a whole class of lads.
Just keep your head low. Like, you weren't, confidence didn't flourish.
No.
No, like, it was just kind of, I was saying that to a friend of mine as well, like school in Nav, and like lads would just give you dead arms and stuff. It was never a place of finding who you are and developing that. Just keep your head low and hoping for the best.
No,
That's
no,
what it was.
that was the thing. Like it was, I thought I remember that. Like it was like lads fucking slapping sunburn on the back of your neck and stuff. Like, gee, like
Oh yeah, yeah.
if
yeah.
somebody did the things lads did to each other now as adults, like you'd call the guards, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly. Then.
into the wheelie bin with you. Come here, you're coming down as part of the tour, the Right Said Freddy tour. You're coming down to us in Care.
I can't wait. Is it the same place I was around 12 years ago?
No, it's not. It's not. It's not. It's up the road. This is a proper comedy club. Comedy
Oh,
club.
jeez, I'm getting promoted.
Yes, this is no, that was the hotel up the road. No, this is going to be the this is they've given me my own club, basically. This
fantastic, then.
It's fucking amazing. Put in proper stage curtains, stage and everything. It's a proper, and they're to say that these are your kind of people, Fred, is an understatement. But no, but you know, like they're nearly like they live in the present more than city folk do to a degree.
I love
you know
it.
that,
Yeah.
Like I saw, like Deirdre was down last month, and I saw a gear that I just had never seen from Deirdre before. She went into an overdrive. She nearly blew the fucking mic and everything. Like it was incredible. Just and because she was just feeling the moment, like, do you know? And she went long, and it was like, fucking, and it's such a variance of the audience. You're going to absolutely love it.
I can't wait. I'll have to record it. Just get a few clips.
Yeah, Jesus, yeah, we will. But it, where else are you? Where else? Because I know, did Navan sell out, or we're just sold out?
Yeah, well, there's around 10 tickets left.
Right,
close enough now. Yeah. So that's tomorrow night, and then I'm in Dolan's in Limerick as well, and I'm also in Cavanagh's in Portlaoise.
Class.
And the Town Hall in Galway.
Class. Yes. And when's the Dolan's one? Because this will go out on Friday morning.
It's June, mid-June.
Oh, grand. Perfect stuff. Grand. I mean, people will be well able to get tickets. I'll put up any ticket links and all the rest of it in the show notes below. But Fred, as always, this has been an absolute
joy. I can't wait to see you. I'll see you next week, is it?
Exactly. See you. Yeah, literally get to see you next week.
Yeah.
We'll have an absolute blast. Fred Cooke, thank you very, very much.
You're a legend. I'll see you soon.
Brother. Good luck.
I'll see